Today, we're diving right into the true story of a family whose dream home turned into an absolute nightmare. We're talking lingering spirits, terrifying warnings, and a little girl caught right in the middle of it all. Do you people want to live or not? Now that is a pretty chilling question, right? We're going to find out exactly who said it and why it was literally a life-or-death situation. But first, let's back up and see how a perfectly normal, happy family got into this mess to begin with.
So it all starts with a young girl named Ruqayya, her parents, and her grandmother. They were doing what so many families do, looking for a new home in Bangalore, a place to put down roots.
And then, boom, they found it. The one. It was one of those places that seems almost too good to be true. A beautiful, huge bungalow, and somehow it was actually affordable. They fell in love on the spot, and without even hesitating, they closed the deal. They were just absolutely thrilled to start this new chapter.
But here's the thing. In all that excitement, they made one huge mistake. They never, ever looked into the history of the house. And this story really makes you think about that. Every place has a kind of energy, right? Vibrations left behind by whoever was there before. And if a place was filled with pain, with sadness, well, that energy can just hang in the air, waiting.
And it did not take long for the house's dark past to start making itself known. That perfect dream they had, it was about to completely unravel.
At first, it was just little things you could easily brush off. Little Ruqayya, who was only 4 years old at the time, kept telling her mom her toys were moving. She'd put her doll down in one spot, and later she'd find it clear across the room. Now her parents, of course, just thought, oh, kids have wild imaginations. But then her mother started noticing it too. Things connected to Ruqayya would just be in the wrong place, even when no one had been home.
So what do you think? Was it just the overactive imagination of a 4-year-old girl? Or was this the house and whatever was inside it giving them its first really creepy welcome?
Yeah, those subtle little whispers, they didn't stay subtle for long.
Pretty soon, they became undeniable, absolutely horrifying encounters. The house was done being quiet.
And this is where it gets genuinely scary. The experiences became really specific. One night, around 1 in the morning, Ruqayya's paternal grandmother, her dadi, got up for some water. And as she got close to the kitchen, she heard this sound. She looks inside and she sees a woman crouched down, scraping a burnt pan with her bare fingernails. She ran. Then a few days later, Ruqayya's maternal grandmother, her nani, came for a visit. She's in the bathroom, and suddenly this thick, red liquid drips from the ceiling right onto her hand. At that exact same moment, she feels this heavy, evil presence just fill the room.
The nani was so terrified, she couldn't stay another second. She had planned to stay for days, but she packed her bags that same evening, and before leaving, she just pleaded with them, telling them to get out of that house for their own safety. The warnings were getting louder and louder.
But even after all that, the family didn't leave. I get it, they've just bought the place. What are you supposed to do? But a simple trip to the local corner store, well, that was about to change everything and bring the whole horrifying truth to light.
So Ruqayya goes to the nearby shop. It was run by a religious man, a Malvi, to buy some chocolate. But as he's handing it to her, his whole expression just changes. He stares at this little girl with this look of intense concern and tells her, "Send your father to me. It's urgent. And you stay close to your mother. Don't go outside."
So, when Ruqayya's father gets to the shop, the Malvi looks him dead in the eye and asks him that question, do you people want to live or not? Then he tells him the story of the house. Apparently, a man used to live there with his wife and his elderly mother, but he completely neglected his mom. Whenever he and his wife would travel, they would lock the old woman in a room with just a few scraps of food, for days. And after one really long trip, they came back and found that she had died, all alone in that locked room. They took her body out, but her spirit, tormented, angry, and anguished, it never left.
And this is the part that gives me chills. The Malvi explained that he could see an aura, a presence around Ruqayya. The spirit wasn't just in the house anymore. It had attached itself to the little girl. The moving toys, the scraping of the burnt pan for food, it was all the spirit of that poor, neglected mother. And now, she wanted to take Ruqayya with her.
So, faced with that, with being told your child is the target, they didn't waste another second. They grabbed what they could and got out of that house the very same day.
They moved into a rental, just desperate to escape this nightmare. But they were about to discover something even more terrifying. Leaving the house didn't mean they'd left the ghost. The entity wasn't tied to the building anymore. It was tied to their daughter. And its persistence was just horrifying.
For 5 long years, this spirit tormented Ruqayya. She had constant nightmares, waking visions of this old woman calling out to her, trying to get her to come with her. Can you imagine? A child, not even 10 years old, living in constant fear for 5 years.
After 5 years of this relentless terror, when it seemed like nothing would ever work, the family found one last, desperate option to try and save their daughter.
They found another spiritual healer who knew what they were up against, and what followed was basically an all-out spiritual battle for Ruqayya's soul. For 7 straight hours, this complex, draining ritual went on, a tug-of-war to finally break the connection between this tormented spirit and this innocent little girl.
At the end of those 7 hours, they gave Ruqayya a protective amulet and told her she must never, ever take it off. And just like that, it was over. The haunting stopped. The nightmares, the visions, all of it. After years of sheer terror, she was finally free.
The person who shared this story was Ruqayya herself, now all grown up. And her final words on it really show you the deep trauma they went through. The family actually still legally owns that house, that empty bungalow in Bengaluru. But they never go near it. They won't even look in its direction if they happen to drive past.
And it just leaves us with this one haunting question, doesn't it? A house is so much more than just bricks and wood. It holds memories, energy, history. Ruqayya's family learned the hard way that some histories refuse to stay buried. So it makes you wonder, what stories do your walls hold?